Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the Game Groofs podcast, the all-encompassing weekly gaming podcast from us, the Goodnight Groofs. My name is Matt. Today I'm joined by Mike, Josh, and Paul, and we're just going to get right into this bad boy here. Instead of just asking you all guys how you're doing this week, I want to ask you what your peak of the week was. All right, Josh, what was your peak of the week? What was the best thing that happened to you this week?
Who's ready for a cop-out answer, baby? It's me. It's your boy. The Florida Gators.
Work didn't suck. No. That was your normal typical.
The Florida Gators won their season opener. So go Gators. Nice. Big opponent this past week, Florida Atlantic. You know, big money wins here. Maybe we can carry that into our game this weekend. We should, or I'm going to be really upset next week.
Little tip for the fans at home that they call them the Florida Gators because there's a lot of alligators in the state of Florida.
Oh, is that why?
This is very true.
Kind of interesting. For those of you at home.
Why do they call them Michigan Wolverines, then?
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of Wolverines.
Oh, we're going to get to that later.
There are.
Oh, yeah, we are going to be getting to Wolverine a little bit later, actually. Nice segue.
Mike, what was the best thing that happened to you this week?
I mean, you guys were there for it. PlayStation's showcase, duh.
Yeah.
Do I need to say more? No, because we're going to talk about it.
Because we're going to be, it's going to be a big part of the show.
Paul, similar answer or something different?
You know what? I did have a different, that is a good thing. I think that actually probably was the thing I was most hyped for this week that has not already occurred. But I will say, or that did occur already, sorry. But I will say I did end up like binging a comic today that was really cool. They updated Marvel Unlimited, and I am a Marvel Unlimited subscriber. And I just recently found this comic because I was searching, but you can search by artist now, and I searched by Mark Bagley, who did a lot of the Ultimate Spider-Man art that I really, really liked. And he actually worked on a comic that came out in 2019 that was called Spider-Man Life Story, and it was basically like starting Peter Parker in the 60s in the classic story, and then it goes through the decades, and everyone in Marvel ages. They don't just like stay the same age like they do normally. And it was like a six book run. So it was pretty contained, and I was able to read it all in the morning, and it was fucking awesome. It was so good. Like they kind of like in the 70s, like and like the 80s and 90s, they kind of like hit on different stories that were popular during that decade, but like but with the caveat that like everyone ages and things change a little bit. And it was awesome. I love stories like that. I like standalone contained Spider-Man stories, like Spider-Man Blue and stuff. And I also really like when they do stuff like that, like make characters age in comics just as like a novelty, because I know it's like something that doesn't typically happen. So anyway, that was a bit of a peak of the week for me because it was really good and actually made me feel like I'm probably going to get back into reading some more comics again soon, because I've been kind of in a few weeks where I haven't really touched them.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that you can search by artist. That's really cool.
They just added that. It was a really great new addition. You can search by artist, you can search by character, and like have that set up as like a thing. So when new things come up with that character or that artist, it'll tell you. And another cool thing, this is not sponsored by Marvel Unlimited, but I will say they started coming out with specific comics now for mobile, which is pretty cool.
Whoa.
Like vertical. They have the smart panel thing where it kind of like takes the panels and moves them around, which is cool. But this is actually comics that are specifically made for the vertical thing. But the problem is they did come up with a ton of them, so they're clearly into this, but they're short. We're like talking maybe a minute or two to read them. They're mostly origins for all the main characters that you could think of. So it's kind of like going through Spider-Man's origin again, going through Spider-Gwen's origin, and lots of other characters, Captain America, whatever. But clearly they are planning to do a lot more. And I think this is going to be something that they're going to build on to kind of reintegrate and get people, newcomers to comics to get into comics through Marvel Unlimited with this kind of vertical panel setup. So we'll see how that goes, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it seems like a test more than anything.
Yeah.
What does Marvel Unlimited cost these days?
Well, I'm in Canada, so I think it's about $10. Here it's $13 a month. So I'm assuming it's probably $10 US, which I think is pretty reasonable. You get access to pretty much like a huge deep catalog, with the one real caveat that everything's 3 months behind. Like paper stuff coming out. So, if you want to read like the cutting edge of what's new coming out, not probably for you if you're a big like go to the shop every week, but otherwise it's pretty great.
Every other year I have a period of time where I'm like I want to get back into comics a little bit. Yeah. I'm never like held on to it for too long, but I do enjoy it every once.
What was your peak of the week?
Yeah, my peak of the week. Same as Mike. It was the PlayStation Showcase. A little combination of PlayStation Showcase. There was a mention of the Michigan Wolverines. There was a mention of Marvel Comics. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But yeah, a specific moment in the PlayStation Showcase was really my peak of the week more than anything else. Yes,
Deathloop,
yes.
right?
Another look at Deathloop a couple days before it comes out, of course.
Can never be too hyped. Can never be too hyped, Matt.
Although I will say that was a good look at Deathloop. I don't want to get into it, but it was nice seeing a little.
we
something
are about
different.
to get into it.
Right. Well, yeah, here we go. All right, trending topics. In trending topics, I give our panelists a choice between 3 search terms. They have to tell me which term they think got the most searches over the last 7 days via stats from Google Trends. We'll play 3 quick rounds here. All right, first round: Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, or Ratchet and Clank.
I'm going with Crash. Why not?
I feel like Crash makes sense, but I also feel like Ratchet and Clank still just recently came out, so I'm gonna go Ratchet and Clank.
I'm going Ratchet and Clank.
It was Spyro.
Oh, we all suck, boys.
Ooh, people are like trying to get some mint condition Skylanders out here.
They were all very close. Crash and Ratchet were tied, and then Spyro was just a little bit higher.
Okay.
Round 2.
All right.
Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, or Harvest Moon.
Stardew
I'm going
Valley.
Stardew, yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Okay.
My second, that makes sense.
Nothing has happened with Animal Crossing. It's just
But it's-
I
existing.
think they have a new.
It's the
update
Ratchet and Clank
coming out.
logic here, where we're like, maybe it's just Animal Crossing. People are just hyped for it.
Remember that Animal Crossing sold like 35 million copies.
Exactly,
There's-
yeah,
there's-
yeah.
People,
Sure,
people
yeah.
are still searching it just to like, they're just searching Animal Crossing to go look up guides for different
Bytes,
things. You know?
yeah.
Sure.
All right, in the final
Animal
round.
Crossing, Rule 34, Tom Nook's Nook.
I was gonna say.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. Let's go. Jot that one down on the old notebook here. Hell yeah.
Nook book.
All right. Round 3. Atari, Sega, or Mattel.
What? What are we looking up? What
What?
dinosaurs there are?
Sega. That's a good one. Sega.
I'm just for the memes. Like, go Barbie, go Mattel.
I'll be different and make sure there's a winner. Atari.
It was Sega.
Monkey ball. Monkey ball, babies.
Monkey ball.
Oh, sorry, you
Yeah.
mean cat ball?
No, Sega
Console ball.
Genesis does what
Yeah.
Nintendo don't, boys.
Genesis ball.
Yeah, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Now, new characters are literal consoles.
Literal Dreamcast. Say,
Did you ever want to play as a console?
Did you ever want a chance to play the Sega Saturn? Well, you can't play it, but you can play as it.
These motherfuckers have given up.
They're just like, what's something we can implement that we don't have to animate anything
We're
for?
done. We spent our licensing budget on like dumb shit from Persona. Now we're
They're just putting literal JPEGs inside these balls.
what do we have left that we can use? Yeah.
Literal JPEGs.
Oh my god.
All right, guys, let's move on to the big question because we got a big discussion here today. All right, we all just watched the PlayStation Showcase a little while ago. Today's PlayStation Showcase was jam-packed with a ton of great game announcements and new reveals. So we're just going to get right into it. The question, instead of a normal big question today, my question is just, what did you think of the show? First, let's get some general impressions of the show overall, and then we'll go through game by game to hear what everyone thought about everything. I'll give my impressions first, just my general thoughts. I'm really happy that we got a show like this. It's been a while since we had a show that was just punch after punch. I do think during E3, Xbox had a good show, but it's been a while since it was just like every single thing was interesting. Even if it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, it was at least interesting. Like, for example, like Project Eve, which we'll talk about, like probably not a game I'm ever going to play, but there was stuff to talk about. It was interesting. I'm just so happy that we had a show like this. And I feel like the last time we did was PlayStation show last year. But even then, that one, they spent too much time on Grand Theft Auto 5 and stuff like that. And they touched on it this year.
They did it today too.
Luckily, it was very brief.
Any amount of time on Grand Theft Auto 5 in 2021 is too much time.
Agreed.
Just stop.
Correct.
Let it die.
Agreed. Paul, what are your general thoughts on the show as a whole?
Yeah, so I won't go too. I won't want to go too long because I'm excited to do this game by game talk. I'm so excited, but I will say the show blew me away. I don't want to be overhype man here, but I just thought it was awesome. I listened to the Game Groofs you guys did while I was gone a couple weeks ago, talking about how like shows haven't had that hype feeling for a while, and this had that hype feeling for me in 40 minutes with like really no hosting. And like it wasn't even like we'd seen some stuff before, and still all of it was cool. Even the stuff they showed us from games we'd already seen, the Deathloop stuff, we can joke about, Deathloop's about to come out, and we've seen Deathloop ad nauseum. But like what they showed from Deathloop was like a different vibe to it. It felt a little more fleshed out. It showed me parts of the game that made me even more excited for it than I originally was. Not to get in game by game, but I'm just saying like they really nailed it. And I just came away feeling really, really excited in a way that even that Xbox event, which I liked a lot, was probably my favorite event this year so far. It totally blew it out of the water. And last, I was just going to say about this is that, 40 minutes. I thought there's no way this is going to be like, there'll be a couple things that will really be interesting and maybe be like a cool game. It's like the Gamescom event made me think, and that was like 2 hours, and still, I barely came away with like one announcement that really blew me away. So this was beyond expectations. Really, really, really great. Really great. It made me want to buy a PS5, and I didn't want to buy a PS5 at all before.
I am glad that you touched on Deathloop a little bit, because it's one of the 3 games that we're just not covering here. We're not going over Deathloop, Gran Turismo 7, or the GTA stuff.
GTA stuff.
Why not?
Oh, why not? There's so much they're adding.
Let it die.
New textures.
All right, Mike, what were your general overall thoughts for the show?
I thought it was good. I mean, you guys kind of hit on it. It seems like they, took a cue off of Xbox and just went for game trailer after game trailer. So that's always good. As far as content wise, I thought it was the first half was rough for me. I was like, okay, these are cool new things, but don't know much about them, and we're just hiding the amazing shit at the end, which they delivered and then some. But it was good. I'm not gonna sit here and say that wasn't.
It wasn't 40 nonstop minutes.
I would have to.
For you.
I'll get more into it when we go game by game.
Yep.
I do.
Why my mellow reaction to it?
I love that they just go trailer to trailer to trailer, and I also really appreciate. I think that this show really showed us that we don't need world premiere before every trailer. We're gonna recognize it when we're seeing the trailer and we realize we haven't seen this before. So
especially when they use different versions of it. They said world premiere or different premiere. They changed some of the title so that everything had some version of the dude's deep voice over it in the Xbox stuff before. And it's like, okay, like some of this is stuff we've seen already. Like, come on. I was also just gonna really quickly interject and just say that you guys talking about trailer after trailer, maybe go, it makes sense for them too now, especially more than ever, more than Xbox, because they don't have that cult of personality. They don't have anyone there that like really grabs. They don't have that Phil Spencer or that person who's like really in it, and so I think that was smart. Although Herman Hulst actually had some good presence in the show. Yeah,
he's been good in filling that role a little bit more so than Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan's
Jim Ryan.
Not a whole lot going on there.
He's just a corporate exec guy. He seems like great at what he's going on, but he's very behind the desk.
Like Herman Hulst is a guy who's actually worked on games, So. Josh, what
it
about
seems
you?
Like he seems like actually played a game, maybe.
Right, exactly.
Yep. I thought it was good.
Okay, moving on.
No, I'm a little kind of with Mike. There were like maybe 1 or 2 hits sprinkled at the beginning, but yeah, basically like they pulled the old Sony dick out and just started to just like lay it on the table basically for the last half of the show. And I love just the trailer after trailer. As much as I love Phil Spencer and like getting hyped up for an Xbox show, and I think it works for them, sans the whole world premiere bullshit. I think that it's a good fit for Sony because that's all they need. Like Sony has some of the best games on the market, and they speak for themselves. So just let them do the talking instead of trying to hype them up. Yeah, there's a few games in here. I guess wrapping up on this, I gotta say, was I excited to get a PS5 before this? I was just kind of like, oh, eventually I'll get it. After this, I'm like, well, shit. I guess I'm gonna have to get one.
Yeah.
So it did its job for me at least.
All right, so we're gonna go through these games, and there are specific people in this group here that I might throw it to you and get your thoughts first, for specific things. But other than that, I'm just gonna kind of blurt out the game, and if anyone's got some thoughts, they can go for it first. But first, I want to kick our very first one here to Mike. Mike, tell me your thoughts on the Knights of the Old Republic remake.
It's awesome in the sense that it's being made. I'm very worried that they're calling it a remake. I'm extremely worried that it's a brand new studio that I don't really know of doing it. What made KOTOR great the first time was the story behind it. They wrote a very good story, they executed it very well, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm nervous. I'm about as nervous as when Dragon Age Origins was getting a sequel and then Dragon Age 2 was getting a sequel. It's that level of, are they going to do the game correctly in the sense of keeping the same story driven?
Jesus, by the way.
For audio listeners, Paul's screen just got really bright.
I was messing with my lighting.
Keeping that narrative driven RPG is like, it's important, and I don't want it to go the ways of, especially not Dragon Age 2. That would be really tragic. But again, seeing that's actually announced, seeing Darth Revan seems cool. I'm excited. I want to see more. I don't want to see just lightsaber lights up and that's it. So show me more.
And they were very specific in saying too,
worried.
Yeah, and they were very specific in saying, hey, before Matt and I were joking about this on the stream, before we show, it'll be a while before we show any more yet. And it's like, more, you've showed nothing so far. You showed like a cinematic that like you can make
a character.
Of a character.
Literally.
Well, the character.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I never played the original, so I am kind of excited. I know it's been like ported to everything. It was ported to mobile. I'm pretty sure Aspyr, the team who's developing this, is the one who ported it to mobile. So I am cautiously optimistic. Like Mike mentioned, this is like the first major project for this team. And I think the good thing is that they're not like creating their own Star Wars game. They at least have something to go off of. They have an outline to follow. They have blueprints for this thing. You know, it's not a remaster, it's a remake, which means that they can go off the track a little bit. And we'll have to see how that goes. But I am cautiously optimistic. Josh, what are you thinking?
I'm in the same boat. I'm cautiously optimistic because I've always wanted to play it. Unfortunately, I have had one of the big story points spoiled for me. So I'm wondering if there's really any even like a point of me doing it. Maybe we'll see what the gameplay is like.
Yes,
it is.
I mean, it's not about the ending. It's about the journey.
About the journey. It's 100% about the journey.
If you got Fallout 4 endings spoiled for you, it doesn't make the story any less good. Well, I mean
it doesn't improve the story
anyway. That like it won't get any better or worse. You know,
that's fair too. I mean, look, there's not a mining facility at the beginning of this game, so they got that going forward at least. But real talk, I am looking forward to it. Them having done a mobile game first, I mean, it is just a mobile remake of this, so remaster this.
I mean, it was
straight port, basically.
Yeah.
It's a port.
So I mean, I really can't gauge much from that. So maybe they'll do great, but it's honestly like, even if they change a lot of shit from the like regular game to the remake, it's like I'm not gonna know the difference because I've played probably like 30 minutes of the first KOTOR, and that game has not aged well.
I've played about 5 hours of the first KOTOR. I played it about 3 years ago or so. I really wanted to get into it on Steam. I played it. I really liked the story at the beginning. I was having fun, but just the cities, the things that are supposed to feel so expansive. I feel like not having that nostalgia of having played it when I was younger. I'm sure if I had played it younger and then came back to it, probably like Mike, your experiences, you could probably come back to it now if you played it younger, and then it would still be good because you have like different connotations.
I don't know that it would still be good if I came back to it.
But you might like it more than I would like it coming from never having had those
I'd be more familiar with it.
But I liked what I saw, and I just honestly, at certain points, the combat just got too janky and bogged down and stiff in a way that it wasn't for me.
That would be the biggest change.
That was it. I would, if I could have made the combat a little smoother, and then I would have just kind of plowed through the game on an easy mode to experience the story, but I just found it too miserable to use that I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, the problem is that it's an old game that has a combat system that has been iterated on many times at this point.
It's also a combat system even in modern games I hate. I hate like pause team combat. That drives me fucking crazy. So doing an old version of that is like,
Yeah.
Make the combat almost Dragon Age in a way,
Yeah.
and I'd probably fuck with it more. Like, because you can pause Dragon Age if you want to, or you can
don't
just play
have
real
to.
time.
That's the thing. Yeah. And this,
And
I felt like you
I
really
could
had to, and I
fuck with that easy. Yeah.
But
Which Dragon Age?
I've done the first one and Inquisition.
So which Dragon Age?
2 was trash.
Not Origins, the best one.
So I will say, Aspire has done a shit ton of ports. They're mostly they were founded to port games to Mac OS, and then since then they've been doing a lot of Switch stuff, Linux, more Mac, mobile. So they have experience with major titles. They just haven't done their own remake before.
Let's be honest too. I feel like the reason this is part of the reason this is getting made, I feel like it's because they can get someone cheap like Aspire to make it.
Probably.
So you know what? Honestly, like good for them. Let's see them like what they can do making a remake. I feel like if it weren't them, it wasn't probably gonna get made anyway. So let's just like see what we get, and hopefully it's great.
I want to follow that up. I'm kind of confused as to I don't know the history of the rights to this game. Like, why did Obsidian lose rights to this game?
I think LucasArts owns the rights to the game.
They own the rights to it. They just had Obsidian develop it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, screw you, Obsidian. It's like, oh.
As everyone seems to do with Obsidian, typically. Thanks for the great game. Now, fuck you.
Thanks for the great story. You guys are really good at story-driven games.
Yep.
All right, next game was Project Eve. Now, I'll give my impressions here real quick. I thought Project Eve, in my notes, I wrote shiny outfit. The character wore a very shiny, very tight outfit, but the game looked great, like visually, graphically, like very high fidelity enemies and environments and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's for me, but the combat did look cool. I don't know if I'm ever going to play this game, but it could be one of those things that, it comes out and it's got a huge following because it is just a really good game. Might not have the greatest story, but it might just play really well. I could totally see that happening. I could also see it coming out and just being forgotten.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Anyone else have thoughts on this?
I feel like Bayonetta, Dark Souls, that was all, I think it looks polished. The graphics look great. The hair, the monsters, everything looks great.
Yeah,
but it's just, those are games I'll never play. So this is, once again, something I'll never play.
And that's where it hit right with me. Is this actually doesn't feel as Dark Soulsy to me. This feels more like Bayonetta Nier Automata.
I agree. I felt the character was near. I just feel like the monsters look like some of the bosses had real.
They're definitely like Eldritch
Souls
Gothic-y, like 100%. I agree with you there. The monsters are very
that's the only part.
Soulsy in style. But I mean, it's like anime for me. I'm sure the music is going to be good just based on the little bit we heard. Like that's enough for me to get into it. But as far as it being a potentially forgettable game, I could very well see this being like one of those games where people are like, "Yeah, did you play that game? Like the Code Vein? Like that happened once."
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but is it a $60 game for me? I mean, unless the reviews are just crazy. Like probably not. This is like a wait for a sale or PS Plus or something.
It's being developed by Shift Up Corporation. I've never heard of them before, so I'm a little bit worried about this game. Mike, do you have any thoughts, or are we moving on?
It's always bad when they have project in the title.
That's a good point. A lot of project games aren't really good, but
fuck.
I think this was like the first game during the showcase where I was just like, and I had that kind of questioning in my head about where we were going, because it felt like, and I'm going to say this also kind of for Forspoken, though Forspoken looks like a better game than this does.
Watch where you tread lightly, fucker.
I know. It felt like let's show all the pretty shiny things that we can do, but not show any like, hey, this is good feeling gameplay. It felt a lot like
Godfall. Yeah.
When we first saw Godfall, it felt like, oh, this is beautiful combat. Oh wait, the combat feels like shit. So I'm very nervous. I don't think this is gonna really go anywhere. I doubt I'll play it. I definitely won't buy it for $70. But yeah, like I said in the comments during it, it looked very Ninja Gaiden
Yeah.
mixed with maybe some Nier Automata. I don't know.
Mhm.
It was interesting, but I won't play it
All right, the next
unless
game.
it's like amazing.
The next game, I don't know how to pronounce this exactly, but it's TCHIA, so maybe Chia or something like that. This was the sort of cartoony. You're playing as
You play
kids.
a ukulele.
You play a ukulele. You can turn into various animals. At the end, it said it's based on New Caledonia, as Mike said in the during the Twitch stream, something along the lines of probably like local myths or legends, fables, that sort of thing.
Get that vibe.
And it was also mentioned that this is basically Mario Odyssey with animals. And it looks really cute. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but it looks really cute. And it looks like it could be a bargain price game, which might make it more enticing. Paul, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm here for it. I'm hyped. I'm ready. I remember during the stream, they started playing a ukulele, and you were like, I knew it's fucking the second that was going to happen, you'd be into it. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
I am into it. Well, just you can pick all these chords. You can actually like play notes. That's so fun. Is like even just like as a little aside thing to do for flavor. As soon as you can start turning into the animals, the graphics are impressive. Like they're stylized and cartoony on the characters in the right moments, but also kind of like really beautiful in how they work in the landscapes. It kind of reminds me of, and this is not a fair comparison, but just like, I don't know, I'm imagining like the journey you go on and like What Remains of Edith Finch or something like that. This kind of like indie journey where you're out and you change into, there's parts in that game like where you can change into animals and kind of go on these little journeys. And I'm just imagining kind of something where you're like in this world and you're having these little journeys and you're experiencing things and you're acting mundane scenarios like playing a guitar. I don't know. I could go on forever, just describe what's in the trailer, but this will be a purchase for me, I think, if it continues to look like how it looks. I just love cutesy slice of life shit like this.
Any other thoughts on this one?
It's like
Not really.
no, it's one of those games that I might think of downloading if it comes to PS Plus. Play it for 3 minutes and then probably uninstall it.
Yeah.
Would be a really good PS Plus game.
It's
Would
such
be
an
great.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a niche game for sure.
I
Yeah,
got like
definitely.
weird Hat in Time vibes at some point during the presentation, which is
Mhm.
why I said this seems like a Mac game. But
Okay.
I don't know. It looks good.
Yeah, it's weird because
For what it is, right?
it didn't
Yeah.
look very
Yeah.
platformery. It looked like adventure-y, but you know, the turning into animals you would think would be a platformer mechanic, you know, using different animal abilities. Like, I don't know, if you turn into a rabbit, you can jump high or whatever, something like that.
Mhm.
Turning into the seagull was really cool because all of a sudden you're flying around the world. Yeah,
I see the dog digging and stuff too. It makes me think of like the Sea of Thieves kind of gameplay loop where it's more about adventure, digging, like uncovering things and like moving in this like tropical island space. I really got Sea of Thieves vibes from it a little bit in the
Yeah.
sense of like it's made to be like a fun game and not necessarily like stuff happens a lot game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. This is the D&D based Borderlands game, essentially. To me, it looks more appealing than Borderlands ever did. I could never get into Borderlands. The specific, aesthetic and like attitude of Borderlands was never something that I could really get into, and it was also early on in the looter shooter existence, and it didn't quite have a footing for me yet. But this, I mean, visually looks absolutely stunning. And I think it's just sort of a vibe and an aesthetic that appeals to me a little bit more than Borderlands. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I came away from, I remember seeing it earlier and I was talking about it in replay and just kind of feeling like this isn't anything that's like super grabbing to me. The name really threw me off. I was kind of like, what is this? Seems kind of like a bad spin-off. Seeing this though, I agree. I never really fully got into Borderlands, although we did try to play it together. I think that cel-shaded like comic look in Borderlands, I feel like maybe it was just a little too low res at the time, or it wasn't quite at what it should be to like really give the effect it gives in Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I know they're going for the exact same effect, but something about like the depth of field and things you can see with the graphical fidelity they have on the next gen systems, it really looks great. And I love all the tabletop aspects. So like they're really leaning into like RPing. I don't know how it's going to work in that sense, but there seems to be like a strange overworld where you're like smaller characters going on adventure and kind of like acting things out, but then you go into like action modes. I'm really unclear of what it's going to be, but I think this will be something probably I won't pick up on day one, but when this goes on like a Steam sale or goes on sale on, PlayStation or something at some point, I think we'll, me and you and some friends or something will pick this up and like play it for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think that pretty much summed up some of my thoughts. I'm kind of just tired of the Borderlands aesthetic, honestly. I think it's tired and played out, and the world too. I'm also admittedly biased. I just don't really like Borderlands that much. I've tried multiple times with 1, 2, and 3, and I think I kind of get the appeal. It's just not for me. But I will say the like D&D tabletop aspects of this, all the Borderlands stuff aside, actually looked pretty neat. Like I don't know, like I said, I don't know how they're almost going to do like the metaverse or however they're going to work all that out. But that to me was kind of what stood out, at least as maybe if the reviews come out, this game's looking pretty solid, pretty fun with like, a good group of friends. You can pick it up on, like you said, Steam sale, PlayStation sale, and maybe it'll be one of those that's a little more worth it in that regard. But I'm so tired of the Borderlands aesthetic.
There were a couple like cringy little like Borderlands jokes, just like Tiny Tina's entire vibe, specifically Tiny Tina herself, and I'm just like, oh, like now I remember it's Borderlands. Like
it feels like 2013. Like whenever Borderlands got injected into it, it's like I don't care anymore about the Borderlands humor. It's like hee poo poo fart joke.
Yeah.
Claptrap, funny man.
For a while, yeah.
Like, just shut the fuck up, you robot bitch. I'm just tired of it.
Mike, how are you feeling about this one?
I mean, I was probably gonna buy it day one, so.
Oh.
After Josh's tirade.
All right.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, no, it looks amazing. So that's all.
I agree. It does look amazing.
I think Borderlands would appeal more to me if it had, online persistence to it, but alas. All right. The next game, which was announced the other day, but we saw actual gameplay here, Alan Wake Remastered. Now, Alan Wake is a game that we discussed it on the replay the other day. I jumped in. It was free on GOG a little while back, and I jumped in and played a little bit of it, but it was just outdated and older at that point. And I know it has held up pretty well. I just wasn't in the mood to keep going with it at the time, but a remaster intrigues me. I don't think that it looked as amazing as I was maybe expecting it to look for a remastered game on a PlayStation 5, but I'm still interested in the story, and October 5th, spooky season, that's intriguing to me. What do you guys think about this one?
I'm with you. I played the first one when it came out on 360. When I saw the remaster on PS5, my initial thoughts was, did it look worse on 360? I don't remember it looking that bad, so if this is an upgrade, I don't know what I'm missing, but Alan Wake's a good game. I won't get this because I don't care to replay it, but it's a good game.
Yeah, after talking about it in the replay, we talked about it extensively. I'll just really quickly say I have not played it. I always was told I should, and it does seem like a game I'd be get into. But that being said, and Matt pretty much hooked me a lot here. With the Reddit comment or something that said it was like playing a Stephen King novel, and it does look like that, and I'm pretty into it. So I'll definitely give it a go. But now that I'm hyped for it, I'll obviously just wait for the remaster, and I'll probably pick it up, I guess. I'll see what pricing's like, obviously, and if it's cheaper to get the original, I might just get that. But definitely cool to see that. I think, as we talked about before, I think a remaster is kind of like a weird, I don't know, kind of a weird move. I think a remake's also a waste of resources, but it would have been, I guess really this is more about like generating hype with that and the control stuff to then maybe make more Alan Wake stuff in the future. They really seem to be wanting to do that. So whatever, it's a safe bet. I mean, a lot of people who haven't played it before aren't going to like go and compare this to the original Alan Wake and go, what looks better? Like really, unless you played it before. So they'll probably make some money on this and gauge interest. So it's cool. I'll play it.
You took the words right out of my mouth at the end there. I think that this is a tool to gauge interest for an Alan Wake 2. And whether or not they want to continue the Alan Wake stuff in the Control universe. Next game. Rainbow Six Extraction, a PvE co-op game. Whereas Siege is player versus player, this is players working together against aliens. I'm not sure Tom Clancy ever wrote about aliens. We're sort of beyond the Tom Clancy name at this point. It's kind of just there for whatever reason.
Money, baby.
But this looks intriguing. If this gets good reviews and if people enjoy this game, this is something I'll want to jump into. If it's just mediocre, I'm not going to care at all. Josh, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, Rainbow Six Siege has tainted my view of Rainbow for a little while now. But I shouldn't be so harsh on it because the game's good, the community is just really bad. That said, why the Tom Clancy name? I'm not going to be that picky about it, but he's rolling over in his grave.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the iteration though, and I think, why not give it a go? See if people actually like it and gauge interest in maybe finally expanding Rainbow again outside of its confines that I think it's kind of backed itself into and just being this super tactical shooter, which I mean it does it well, but finally they're kind of taking that IP and moving it forward after it's been Siege came out 2014 or something like that, 2013, something like in that range. I just think it's time that we maybe saw something new, and I think I'm kind of looking forward to it. I don't think it'd be a day one for me, but it'd probably be a fun one with friends, maybe a fun trophy hunt kind of game too. To kind of go to certain maps, play on super hard difficulties, that kind of thing.
This is just a personal thing. I know I might be in the wrong here, but I am just so fucking tired of gritty shooters. So whenever I see this or like fucking Call of Duty Vanguard shit in a show, I just tune the fuck out. So that was me for this. Matt was like, "I'm hyped," and I was like, "I fucking don't care."
If you're sick of gritty shooters, I've got the game for you. It's called Tom Clancy's X Defiant.
Yeah, no grit there.
Punk rock meets tactical shooter.
We're doing it. We're not like the other shooters.
Whoa!
Pick me.
All right. Next game. Paul mentioned that he was getting a little excited for this one during the show. This is Ghostwire Tokyo, one of the this will be the swan song from a Bethesda published game on PlayStation. Most likely. Maybe in the future we'll see another one, who knows. But for now, this is the last one. So what are we thinking about Ghostwire Tokyo? I thought this trailer today was pretty impressive. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, just because you mentioned me, I'll just say quickly, I thought it looked awesome. I didn't really pay much attention to it before. I was kind of like, Deathloop first, then I'll worry about the next Sony Bethesda thing. This looks pretty badass. We have like Oni masks and like fucked up like weird Silence from Doctor Who looking things and Slendermans. And I just really like the main gameplay aspect of like this like very linear kind of like this very like stiff looking like first person view with like magic things shooting out and this like glitchy particle effect. That visual just really I'd probably get sick of it if like every game starts coming out with that for some reason, but I really liked it in Ghostwire Tokyo because I haven't seen it like in that specific iteration before, where like magic with like a techie glitchy thing. And so anyway, looks cool to me. I actually might play this game. It'd probably be the kind of game I'll play in like 2 years after I've had my PS5 for a while and it goes like free on PS Plus, but it looks like really good though. I still think just not, enough for me to pay like $60 for it.
Now, it's funny you mentioned the PS Plus thing because I was thinking like this would be a really good PS Plus game, I feel like.
Yeah.
But would Microsoft publishing ever allow this to go on PS Plus? I don't think so.
I don't know if they have that. Is that how it works?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know how it works. I just don't see that happening for whatever reason.
Possible.
Any other thoughts on this one?
Looks neat.
My impression hasn't changed. I'm not impressed.
All right.
It does look a little like, I will say the movements feel a little janky just by watching it.
Weirdly, I like that.
It looks very janky and
I agree.
repetitive, but that's just me.
The world looks cool as shit though.
For some reason, I like that. I don't know. It's like when we were talking about Far Cry 6 the other day, and I was like, the landscapes look really good, but like the gameplay looks kind of like stiff and like GoldenEye, and I was like, I kind of like that though.
Yeah.
Like that kinda, for some reason, I like this. Like everything else is smooth, but your character is like really kind of like stiff. I don't know. That seemed for some reason like I don't want my character's like hands in the screen being like all like loosey goose like a real human.
Yeah,
Stiff it up.
Ghostwire Tokyo does feel like double 0.5A. Like it's not double A, it's not triple A. It's somewhere in the middle.
2.5.
This feels like a solid 72.
Yeah.
Or-
I think you nailed it. Yeah.
72 is a very respectable score. Let's get this on Game Pass, baby. Come on, Microsoft.
Oh,
I don't think Microsoft cares.
this is
Be on
coming to Game Pass. Yeah, at some
One
point.
day, yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Next game, Blood Hunt, which is the battle royale game for Vampire the Masquerade, which had sort of been an afterthought. It had been at these events, so like clearly, like Sony believes in this in some way. People believe in this game, at least in some regard. And I will say, I never really gave it much thought before today, but the trailer today pretty much sold me on at least giving it a shot.
They have the two things that we want. Name your gameplay aspect, and I'll name mine.
Well, it had the Shadowrun like teleportation thing.
Yeah, exactly. That was the one, and then also it had the thing from Guns that you were talking about.
Oh
recently
yeah,
in the show.
oh yeah, where you can block bullets with your sword. It looks like it's almost like a hero shooter style battle royale where you're picking characters who have certain abilities. And
fucking Nosferatu is in there, which like 100% Nosferatu. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, no, this looks ridiculously fun, and I never would have expected it, and I still don't I don't think the game's gonna. I think it could be insanely fun, and I still don't think it's gonna do very well, just because it seems super niche, especially like
might be too creative too. Again, when the gameplay is too creative, it doesn't work. Look at Fortnite.
Right. Being
that's so popular.
You know.
World of Darkness, like Vampire the Masquerade, isn't like an insanely popular thing. So, any other thoughts on this though?
I mean, yeah, it looks. I assume it's free to play. But if it is, then I will give it a shot. But outside that, I'm probably not gonna pay money for it. It will be like all the other vampire games. It will sit on my wish list, and I will never actually buy it.
You lost me at Battle Royale.
Oh, okay.
I spent years wanting to play Vampire or whatever, like that Don't Nod vampire game, and then I played it for like an hour, and I was like pissed at it, and I turned it off.
Really?
It's like,
yeah,
it just was like kind of stuffy, like it was kind of janky, and like the puzzle aspects were it just kind of glitchy and slow, and the story also was cringy to me at the very beginning. So I just was like, nah.
It was a PS Plus game, I think, last year, so I have it, and I wanted to play it this October.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, moving on. Now we're getting into some more of the meat, some more of the bigger titles. All right.
Oh yeah, baby.
First one up, Guardians of the Galaxy. I will say it looked better today than it has in the past.
Way better.
I still don't personally love Guardians of the Galaxy as a property, and I'm not super interested in this game, but it looked way better. What about you guys?
You know what sold me on Guardians of the Galaxy? Because my first, basically introduction to Guardians of the Galaxy was the movies. I never read the comics on it, anything like that. So I think after watching these trailers and kind of trying to get into Guardians of the Galaxy, what has really sold me on Guardians of the Galaxy? How many times can I say Guardians of the Galaxy? If you get $1 for every time I say it, we're all going to be rich, baby. That said, what sold me on that was like the actors and not necessarily the actual characters in Guardians, because to me they just are not that interesting. But the Chris Pratt, Batista, for example, like Rocket. When Rocket talked, I was just immediately pulled out of it.
It's fucking Bradley Cooper doing a voice that's nothing like Bradley Cooper's, and yet he fucking nails it. It's amazing.
It's like I needed more, I guess, more connection to the characters in that way. But the gameplay did look more improved from the other trailers, which that's nice. I'm really not excited for it, to be honest. And I'd like to be. I'm just not. Like the other Marvel games that were shown.
I noticed you didn't mention Vin Diesel's voice work.
I fucked it up. You're right. I should have.
He recorded every time they say it. They didn't reuse those,
Now,
I tell you.
Did he do mocap?
I know. I think he did, yeah.
All right. Good for him. Paul, what are your thoughts on this game? I know you're probably the most excited out of the four of us.
Hey, listen, I will say I'm a heinous MCU shill. I love the fucking MCU. That being said, unpopular MCU opinion, I don't really like Guardians that much, and I like the first one because it was the first funny, really specifically comedy kind of style MCU movie. But I think they've gotten a lot funnier since then in the MCU and like better at balancing that. And I feel like Guardians to me Especially the second one is just like it's trying too hard to be funny, and it gets really cringy. And that being said, also I'm just fucking sick of Chris Pratt, so that just like really ruins Guardians at this point going forward for me. Like I'm just sick of they just tried to make him a thing for too long, and it really just. Oh, anyway, the point is, the thing I like the most about this game is that, and I said in the stream, that they didn't try to be the MCU at all. Obviously, the characters are kind of similar because they base the characters in the MCU on comic characters, but they're much closer to comic counterparts, and they're their own thing. The voice didn't try to be Chris Pratt's Star-Lord. It tried to be more of a comic Star-Lord. And I'm not saying the comics are better. I'm just saying it's different. That it's cool that it's distinct. It looks polished. It looks clean. It is kind of funny. Like I did laugh. I knew the beats were going to be the typical things that those characters do. I will say, I when as soon as Rocket talked, the actor's not bad, but that is the one character where I was kind of disappointed not to get that Bradley Cooper voice or someone doing a voice like that. It's such an iconic characterization, and I think it's the best Guardians character. But anyway, yeah, I'm hyped. The gameplay looks a lot better than it looked before. I didn't think it looked bad before, but I think we spent a lot more time talking about like the choices you could make. I know we didn't get like a lot of gameplay like a demo like we got before at whatever the last event was where we showed that.
E3. I think it was the Square Enix
I think
show.
it was E3. Yeah. But yeah, the point is, I think what we saw looked really clean, really visually interesting, and this went from a game that I was probably going to play when it became free or cheap at some point to something I might pick up, maybe not at launch, but maybe a month or two after, like first sale it comes out, I might just grab this.
All right. Mike, any thoughts on this one?
You guys kind of said a lot, so I'm not going to add too much. I will say I wasn't really excited for it to begin with. I'm still not. It looks good. It looks better
Mike, you
than
hate
Marvel
this.
Avengers.
You hate the PlayStation. You said this was the peak of your week. You hate the PlayStation showcase, damn it.
No. We haven't gotten to the good stuff. Matt said, "Here comes heavier hitters," and then went off with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, no. It looks good. It's just not the gameplay that I care for. It looks like it could have a really interesting story, and it looks better than, like I said, it looks better than Marvel's Avengers. So they
Low
beat
bar.
the baseline. Yeah. I do want to go off on a tangent, and by tangent I mean back up a bit to Vampire Blood Hunt. Apparently already out.
Wait, what?
The fuck?
On Steam, early access. Also, reading the reviews because they were mixed and I was curious, installs a very sketchy anti-cheat that doesn't get uninstalled when you remove the game. So,
this came out 2 days ago.
Yeah, it came out 2 days ago.
And
a lot of the footage in the trailer shown today was already on the Steam page. So
holy shit.
Well, we've been bamboozled, boys.
What do you know?
We've been bamboozled. But yeah. With that said, I will not be checking out Vampire Blood Hunt.
Still might. I'll give it a couple days for them to sort out the bugs. I'll get there.
Is it in early access on PlayStation? Because if it is, then I don't really care
Probably
if there's
not.
an anti-cheat on PlayStation.
That's probably why. I think this came out early access on Steam, but the actual release will probably end up being on PlayStation at some point, right?
Right.
I just wouldn't want to play that game on PlayStation. That's all.
Totally fine.
I agree, but if I get a look at it, maybe they take out the anti-cheat at some point.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, next game,
Moving on.
Forspoken. Forspoken is a game that's being developed by the Final Fantasy 15 dev team. Or wait, 15? Yes, 15. Okay, yeah, the Final Fantasy 15 dev team, which wasn't like its own development team necessarily. So they basically took those people, created Luminous Productions within Square Enix, and their first game as Luminous is Forspoken. I think that this game is actually looking way better than I expected. Like we saw some of it a year ago, and I think it was just a CG trailer, and I was impressed by the concept, but now actually seeing this today, holy shit, it looks really fun. The traversal looks amazing. The powers look insanely cool. The voice acting was really believable and good. I'm suddenly really hyped for this game.
Well, if no one's going to say anything, I'll just jump in and be a huge fanboy here and say that I'm fucking hyped for this game as well. I mean, I'll just echo. I won't spend a very long time like I have on other things. Just mainly to point out, yeah, traversal, everything looks good. The world looks huge, which I think is really one of the cool standouts. But really, what I'll say got me most hyped again with a lot of stuff in the show. Good voice acting. I thought the main woman's voice was really, really good. And I thought in general, like her excitement over like, holy shit, I have superpowers and like I'm in this world was really believable as opposed to like being like, oh, cool, I'm just like a hero now. Like it felt really believable that was happening. And also on the flip side, if it's not fucking Paul Bettany doing his vision a role as the thing on her wrist that's talking to her the entire time, I don't know what actor is, but it sounds just fucking like Paul Bettany as Vision, and I love that. And that alone might sell me.
I just searched Forspoken Paul Bettany, and someone on Tech Radar was mentioning that.
Someone else said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is him. I think this game looks great. Where Project Eve, I was like, okay, they're showing the big shiny stuff so that we can see shiny, and oh my god, PS5 graphics are PS5 graphics. So that's not news. Forspoken had gameplay to back it up, and the fact that there was like all these different elemental powers and you can use them in ways that were creative, it looks really good. I'm again with most games like this, open world adventure type games, I'm hesitant to say yes, this will be a day one purchase for me, because a lot of the time open world games can get really repetitive really quickly. But for all the points that Matt outlined and for all the points that Paul outlined, I think this was probably the this game probably for me won the show, hands down, just because of how much they showed and how great everything looked.
This is one of the least JRPG looking JRPGs I've ever seen, which is kind of wild.
I will say that really quickly, because you reminded me with the JRPG comment, the fact that it's Final Fantasy 15 team, I didn't really like Final Fantasy 15, so that worries me, but I know a lot of people did, so that's also great. Moving on.
I did really like Final Fantasy 15. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I thought it looked great. You know what it kind of felt like, since we haven't had Infamous in a while, since really like 2014 and the DLC. This felt like an Infamous kind of game, like just in the movements and the combat and like the powers and almost the swagger that like she carried herself with. Very much felt like Infamous.
Sorry, I just wanted to say I felt that exact same thing about Infamous when it started happening, when they were sliding down like it felt like I was like, is this going to be like, I didn't know it was Forspoken at first yet.
I thought it was Infamous.
I thought, is this going to be some kind of like Assassin's Creed style Infamous? It's like back in the past or something. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, and I also really like the play between like the wrist and like the main character. I think it works, and I'm excited to see more. I will echo Mike's point about the world. Hopefully, it's not too empty. Infamous Second Son, while obviously two entirely different games, but if the combat's engaging enough for me, and still the world exploration's kind of samey, that doesn't bother me too much, because if I'm having like satisfying combat, that usually makes up a lot. So far, it looks that way, but once it gets in the hands, who knows? It could be, if I have a PlayStation 5 by that point, that's a tough call to make at this point with how difficult they are to get. But it could be a day one for me, I think.
So some really interesting things about this game that I am just now learning. First off, I did know this. We talked about project title games. This is formerly a project title game. It was Project Athia before. But I am just now learning this. I didn't know this. The game is being written by Gary Whitta and Amy Hennig. So Gary Whitta, best known obviously for Book of Eli and Rogue One. And Amy,
best Star Wars movie bar none.
And
you and Josh are gonna fight.
Yep.
Amy Hennig, she's known for the Jack and Daxter and Uncharted. So yeah, this has me a little bit more hyped now. I mean, two people who are highly respected as writers. So yeah, this has me pretty excited.
It has me a little worried for the over-the-top egregious fan service, but we'll have to see.
I don't know how much fan service you can throw in.
One with the Force. The Force is with me.
I'm mainly just talking shit about Rogue One.
No,
I know.
my favorite Star Wars movie, but that's all right.
Yeah, same. My absolute favorite.
I'm an outlier here.
The rest kind of suck, but email us at goodnightgroofs@gmail.com.
Here's my Star Wars movie rankings. Number 1, Rogue One. Number 2, The Phantom Menace. Number 3, the rest of them.
Are you joking? Because that's my ranking as well.
Really?
That's actually my ranking. Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll have to talk about that.
This is a nightmare. You know, there is a place on YouTube called J Cooper E where you can get the hottest Star Wars takes and the best tier list that is 100% factual.
There is a Star Wars tier list.
We'll say this is the hottest take I've ever heard about Star Wars. Matt and I both having this list. It's pretty hot take.
Rogue One is one thing. Phantom Menace at 2 is this is
and then everything else in the garbage.
All right. Anyway, Forspoken looks fantastic. I'm incredibly hyped all of a sudden. The next one, we don't have to talk about this much. I know I'm the only one who's a really big Uncharted fan here, but Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy Remaster Collection was announced for PS5 and PC. So this is a big announcement. I'm happy that these games are finally coming to PC. This shows that Sony is willing to put some of their most coveted properties. They already did it with Horizon, but you know, Uncharted is among their biggest properties ever, and it's now coming to PC. So I think that is a really big deal.
Yeah, unshackle your exclusive bonds, Sony, and bring your beautiful swirly 60 frames over to PC, please. That'd be great. Thanks.
Signed, Josh.
Yes.
All right, we have 3 more guys, and these are all heavy hitters. Marvel's Wolverine. Now, this was a complete and utter shock. As soon as Insomniac came up, I was like, what? They're ready to show another game? Turns out
Insomniac and Marvel came up. We thought, I guess maybe Spider-Man. I've been kind of saying the whole show, like, my long shot guess is maybe we'll get Spider-Man. I thought it wasn't going to fucking happen. Then this fucking trailer comes up, I think Spider-Man. And then you see a bar, country music. This is not Spider-Man. What is this? It's fucking Wolverine.
it's Wolverine. You see the claws come out.
Snicked.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I didn't think that we would see anything from Insomniac for a while, much less 2 Insomniac projects, both Marvel projects. We had no idea.
There was a second one? I stopped watching after Wolverine.
We had no idea the Wolverine.
Spider-Man, so I left.
There were no rumors about this at all. I love Wolverine. Insomniac can seemingly at this point do no wrong. My hype levels are through the roof on this. I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, it has me there. I haven't played any of the Spider-Man Insomniac games, but this is 100% what's got me there because Wolverine is one of my favorite characters as well. And from what I've watched from the combat of Spider-Man games, you just put that into Wolverine. Boy, I am fucking there. There's no way this is gonna be bad. Nail the story, and I'm gonna have a fucking blast with this.
Yeah, I think the only question is what is going to be the take on Wolverine. It obviously didn't look like, it wasn't like Old Man Logan. It was like maybe later X-Men movie Wolverine. I don't know. It's hard to say. Paul, do you have any thoughts on which Wolverine they might be going for here?
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts. I'll tell you. I feel like what they're going to do, and they haven't confirmed this, but I feel like there's an intention here with getting Insomniac. I think the one thing really important to note here is that we all kind of thought Sony and Marvel and Spider-Man were seeing, this is a Sony property, Spider-Man. They own the movie game rights for this kind of thing. I mean, it is a Disney property, of course, in some ways, but they own the rights to Spider-Man. Seeing Wolverine, which is something that Disney owns the rights to after buying Fox, is pretty impressive because it's showing that Disney and Marvel clearly think that Insomniac is able to take the reins, not just on something that they're shackled to like Spider-Man, but all of their properties, or at least more than one property, which is really exciting.
Important properties, key properties.
Key properties. And I think, obviously they made Wolverine the main character of the X-Men movies, and that carried on. I was never a big fan of the Wolverine show. I will say personally, I appreciate that other people like it so much. I don't like, I mean, I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I think Logan's my favorite superhero movie, bar none. But, I think there's other X-Men that are cool to check out. But also, Fuck yeah, Wolverine is obviously, like, besides Spider-Man, one of the fucking most popular characters, especially pre-MCU, that anyone's ever heard of. Really awesome. I think the main key here with these characters crossing is character crossover. If Insomniac has made this New York with Spider-Man, with Spider-Man and all this stuff in it, and now Marvel's giving them Wolverine, not in their Sony property, but another Disney Marvel property, makes me feel like they're kind of building to something. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna like do it fast, but this could be a slow build to a small, kind of little, next MCU in games, maybe with Insomniac. Now, I don't want to say it's going to be that. It's probably going to be smaller scale in a major way than that, but I wouldn't doubt seeing the same universe of these characters, and that makes me think we're going to see a Logan that's probably post X-Men in some way. Not really in an X-Men state, not old man Logan, but something post main X-Men. With him kind of, dealing with some fallout of that and going off on his own adventure in a less goofy sounding way than that. I think my only real take on this that I'm kind of up in the air about is traversal. We saw a lot of people talk about what kind of game is this going to be? Is this going to be an open world game? I think it could. Think about something like Yakuza games or something like that. Something where it's open world, but it's in a smaller scale setting. And there's like, places like the island of Madripoor in Marvel. I mentioned this before, or smaller, maybe a neighborhood in New York or something else. Places where you can walk around or get around maybe on a motorcycle or some other kind of traversal that feels natural to Wolverine without giving, and it would still feel big because he's slower. The reason they have to do, or not have to, but like choose to do all of Manhattan for Spider-Man is because he's so fucking fast, and that's what makes him fun, that you need a big space for him to be fast in. But there's a lot of wasted space in Spider-Man's Manhattan because you can't fill it all with stuff. Whereas I can imagine a Wolverine game where you have this like smaller space that's still open and full of stuff. So that's my dream.
So I think you bring up a good point on that, and I think it's safe to assume that this is the Ratchet and Clank team that's working on this game. And with Ratchet and Clank not being open world, but it's linear, but it has large open areas. And in the most recent game in Rift Apart, you have this ability where you have these boots that you kind of hover, and it's almost like you're roller skating on like these boots, and they make you go really fast, and that you use them to travel around a large area. And so I think the fact that they can have these large enough areas where you have faster traversal, but it's still not completely open, could be something along the lines of what we would see with this Wolverine game.
I think that it's going to be actually completely different from what you guys are thinking it's going to be. When I first saw it, my first thought was, are we in Canada and are we getting a open world game where you go on his bike and you go to different facilities?
Oh,
I could see them taking it as an open world linear game like Ratchet and Clank, where you have to go and most likely trying to find a Weapon X facility. You're going and hunting down the people that did this to you, because that's the classic Wolverine storyline. That would be my guess. I've played a lot of Wolverine games in the past, and there have been some really good ones. There's been some really bad ones. I anticipate that this is going to be good. And if it's not, I'm going to be very upset because I will definitely be paying, $70 the day it comes out to play this game. I kind of want to echo Paul a little bit. I kind of wish it was a different character, just like a smidgen, just because when I saw that it was a bar and they had like country music playing, I was like, is this Gambit? Because
oh my god.
And I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
But
bring Taylor Kitsch back for some voicing.
I'm still gonna lose my shit over Wolverine, so it's fine.
The Gambit movie never did happen, did it?
No,
it never happened. Like I was hoping for purple energy staff comes over to his hand. I was like, oh, that would have been so good. But
Matt was saying maybe he thought for a split second it might be Deadpool, and I was like, fuck no. Don't give me, I don't need more Deadpool. Shut the fuck up about Deadpool.
I love Deadpool, but please, the Deadpool game is not great. Let's not do it again.
Just chill on Deadpool too. Can the world just like relax a little on Deadpool? We'll come back to it in a few years. Like hit capacity.
Yeah. It's a good calm between Deadpool 2 and 3.
Yeah.
This cinematic that they showed for the Wolverine game was like straight out of the X-Men First Class movie. Almost.
I remember. I felt the exact same way. Same way.
All right, moving on. Insomniac's other game that they showed off, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I can't believe that they're juggling all of this. It's insane that Insomniac is carrying the PlayStation 5 on their back
And
right now.
evidently, they have no crunch. The studio has really good. They're extremely efficient. They move from game to game.
Amazing studio.
Amazing.
Well, let's also like realize they don't have to make a new New York every time, which is nice.
Right. Paul, do you remember that I predicted that the Spider-Man spin-off or sequel would be it would be a December version of
You did.
the first Spider-Man. I'm like, they already have New York. They're not going to rebuild it. They're just going to put snow on it. And
they did.
Anyway, Paul.
And it was fucking awesome. And you're going to like it so much this Christmas when you play it.
I'm hype.
You should be.
Paul, you are the Spider-Man super fan here, so let's get your thoughts on this thing.
Oh, baby, I'm excited. I jokingly started saying, long shot, we're going to get something. We got Wolverine. I was very excited for you and for me, but it did feel like it was going to be a long way off, and I felt like it really disqualified Spider-Man from happening for a while. We talked about it. They had a nice long, like, fucking 7 minutes of Gran Turismo, or Gran Turismo 7 to us to enjoy while we talked about Wolverine. They knew people were just going to be talking about Wolverine, like, let's throw in Gran Turismo. And the entire time I was like, you know what, this is okay. I'm okay. I accept that Spider-Man's not going to happen right now. Maybe it'll be a while. That's still cool. And then it happens. Insomniac, Marvel. I'm excited. You know, I don't think we got anything that's like going to throw us out anything crazy. I will just give a couple of my quick hot takes, which is one, I think a lot of us after playing Miles Morales, his kit was just so much better. The extra powers they gave him, the way it just felt like the combat was meant to be played that way. It was so good. And it made Pete's combat a little bit lackluster going back. You can see in this, they gave him the extra arms, the Waldos on the back of the suit. And where previously they had those as like a an option in the fun suits in the earlier game. These look, I'm gonna guess that these are going to be useful, and this is actually going to give him more versatility in combat because they made such a point of showing that costume with those arms in the trailer. So I think that's going to be the thing that's going to give him something a little bit extra to match him up with Miles having those extra powers like the Venom Strike and the invisibility. Also, great to have Kraven the Hunter. I love Kraven the Hunter. In that, one of the major points of that comic I read earlier today was Kraven. He's just an interesting character. When he's embarrassingly bad at stuff, he's great. When he's terrifyingly about to kill Spider-Man, he's great. I thought that was really, really cool to have as like kind of a side villain. I'm feeling that might be kind of like the Mr. Negative to Venom's, not to spoil, but it's been out for a while, Doc Ock kind of thing in the second half of the story. And then we get the Venom, we get the fucking Venom voice with the "We Are Venom" shit, and you see the flash of him. Listen, I kind of would have preferred if they almost didn't show Venom in the trailer, just because I mean, it's not like we didn't think it was going to be there,
right,
but
we knew it was coming.
I think Kraven was cool, and they could have showed maybe something a little bit extra else, just to kind of something a little more flashy to show than Venom. But I get that they had to show Venom because I think a lot of us, after playing the first one, there was a tease at the end kind of thing talking about Venom. And it does make you go, okay, well, like, where is that? Are they not going to follow up on that? They kind of had to go, hey, listen, just so you know, it's promised. You've been waiting a few years. We are following up on that tease. I mean, besides that, I'll just say I'm super hyped. I just this morning was thinking, I can't wait. I wonder when I'm going to get a Spider-Man game again. It turns out in, 2 years or so. So that's good. It's a long time. I do think the one downside of getting a date for this and Wolverine is that Wolverine will probably be later. I think 2024, hopefully, if not 2025. But anyway, that's my Spider-Man jump. I'm just really excited.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one?
I'll fight Paul for title of Spider-Man.
Oh, I think that's fair. Yeah,
fanboy.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited for this. Hot take: can it be co-op, please? That'd be fun.
This is what I said to Matt. You see two characters. It's like, obviously it's cool to show the two Spider-Man, but like, fucking come on, they're showing both of them at the same time. This is co-op. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I hope that because of Spider-Man 2, and everyone knows that Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man game before Insomniac got its hands on the franchise. I hope that
Web of Shadows would like a word with you, but okay.
I hope we get some pizza time. I hope we get some fun.
We did in the last one.
We did. I want more. But yeah, I'm excited. They seemingly can't do any wrong over at Insomniac. So
it's crazy. It's absolutely wild.
I will say I
enough.
hope that we get a guest appearance by Mysterio this time.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that would be a good extra villain to get. I mean, we got fucking Sinister Six in the last game.
Yeah, that was
So,
unexpected.
which was really unexpected. And then the last trailers kind of started showing it if you followed them, but we still didn't know Doc Ock, that kind of thing. Come on, it's been out for such a long time. They were in the trailers. The Doc Ock thing's a bit of a spoiler, but it's the fucking, come on, you see Dr. Octavius? Fuck off.
You
It's
meet him
Doc
in the
Ock.
first 5
I
minutes.
know, it's like clearly he's gonna turn bad, right? Like, but anyway, the point is we got six villains in that. Are you really telling me it's just Kraven and Venom here? No, we're gonna get more Rogues Gallery, and I really think Mysterio would be a good move to make, especially after they did such a. I think like you say what you will about the MCU movies, but I think Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio was really cool. So I'm excited to see some more Mysterio off of that hype.
Yeah. Speaking of Spider-Man spoilers, I haven't played either of the Spider-Man games, but I mean, it's Spider-Man. It's not like I'm not familiar with the characters to that end. So I need to play it, and this kind of has me wanting to finally just say fuck it and play it. I don't know how much they currently are. I'm not gonna drop like 60 on the old Spider-Man game.
They go on sale a lot.
Yeah, I just have to keep an eye out and pick it up, and just I'm going to assume I don't need to play the Miles Morales one second, not even for story's sake, so much as it'll just feel like shit going back to the first game. It sounds like. Based on the kit, anyways.
I would play the main one and then Miles Morales. They do have a vague story tie-in. It doesn't really matter, but they tee him up a lot in the first one, so it kind of feels natural to play them in order.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think co-op would be dope as shit. I didn't even pick that up, and that would actually, God, that'd be fun as hell, dude. Between both of their kits, that'd be a fucking blast. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Another reason for me to get PS5.
It'd be really cool to be able to have missions where they have 2 different locations and you have to split up and go deal with both.
Very cool. I will also say, Josh, that you picked a good time to maybe try playing the Spider-Man games. The first one has a real fall feel because it came out in September, and it really is built around that kind of autumn feel. And then Miles Morales came out in the winter and has this winter feel. So you really playing. I was actually just about to do a playthrough in fall and then winter of each game respectively, and I think it's a good time to get into them.
That is a smart idea.
I was going to tell you to do that too, Matt. Actually, because like now's a good time. Let's do it because you can play Spider-Man leading into. Because I know you haven't played Miles Morales. You can play it this winter after you replay Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think my favorite scene in the first Spider-Man game is the Halloween party.
Yeah, that's a great one. Actually, that's fun, and you have to pick out like who is actually like a villain or who's just dressed as one and stuff. Yeah,
I love that. Anyways, right now it looks like the Spider-Man Game of the Year edition is $40, and then Miles Morales is still $50, but they do go on sale. Miles Morales was just on sale for I think $30. So
yeah, pretty good.
Anyway, that takes us. Oh yeah,
quick
go ahead.
Sidebar with Paul. Did you see the new Spider-Man movie trailer?
Dude, fuck yeah! Of course I saw it. I've been waiting for every day. I've been waiting.
Did you see the Feast facility?
I saw Feast, and I was like, they got Feast. All right, I did see that, and I thought that was so cool. Real PS4 vibes. I'm still not hyped. I'm really, really hyped. I'm just waiting for my boy Andrew to come back and be the definitive fucking Spider-Man.
Get out of here.
Oh my God. That's my Spider-Man hot take. Andrew Garfield is the best Peter and Spider-Man that will ever fucking live. Oh,
no.
Movies are bad. Andrew's great.
And the final game that we're going to discuss. We have a name. It's no longer God of War sequel. It is now officially God of War Ragnarok. We saw gameplay. I think it looks fantastic. Visually, it looks stunning. It's hard to imagine it working super well on a PlayStation 4.
I have to imagine they're going to do a thing where like they basically have like a lower graphic version, right? That's going to work.
Well, yeah.
Like it would basically toggle down, right? So
now,
I don't know.
Look, I know I talk about DualSense features a lot.
You sure do. I'm glad finally Matt has been talking about DualSense features all week on fucking GG Replay, and I'm like, where's Mike when I need him to back me up on this shit?
Listen, think of this though. The Leviathan axe felt amazing without the DualSense. It's going to feel fucking phenomenal with the DualSense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's like I wouldn't pay like $10 more just for DualSense if that is the argument you always make for DualSense. But
anyway, I'm hyped for this game. I know it's gonna be fun. I know it's gonna be good. I liked the first one a lot. I'm not as high on it quite as a lot of people are. I do think that Spider-Man for me was the more enjoyable game that year. but it was an insane year for video games. But regardless, I'm excited for this. I can't wait. I do wish it was just a PS5 game. But it doesn't look like it's really being held back. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Between that and Spider-Man were probably some of my fave games that year. Just got a PS4, and it was seemed like the perfect time to grab one at that time for Spider-Man. Then God of War was waiting there to be teed up. This looks great. I saw some weirdos online saying you can see you can see how it was held back by having to be on PS4 too. I didn't see that at all.
Yeah,
I think
it was
people are
hard to
looking
notice.
I think people were looking for stuff like that. And I mean, we can talk about Matt's someone who looks for stuff like that and was kind of disappointed that it was gonna be on both, and yet you didn't feel like that was the case. So, and I didn't either. So I thought that was kind of a weird thing to say. The water graphics alone really blew me away. I just think it's cool. It just it just looks like more God of War, but with PS5, and I think that's awesome. When you see them canoeing over the water, you can see in the water now, and you can see the water moving in better ways. They have everything freezes over, get some fucking snow dogs and sled through. I just think that's awesome. I mean, I can go on the story beats forever, but at the end of the day, it just looks like more God of War, and it looks like a fucking great PS5 game, and will be one of the things that gets me to buy one.
And the main reason I haven't been jumping in is because I haven't played God of War either.
Oh, you gotta get on that shit, Josh.
I literally own it. It's downloaded on my PlayStation 4. I've played probably 2 hours of it. And I mean, it feels great. It's fun. It's just unfortunately when I started playing it, it was in the heat of me raiding intensely in WoW. Sure, so it just fell by the wayside. But I do need to play it, and
it's one of those sit down
this looks great
on a Sunday and just play it all day or something kind of thing, and just get engrossed. That's kind of when I did a lot of it, and it was great.
It clicks after a couple hours. You do have to get through the first little bit, and then it really clicks, and you're like, oh shit, this is really good.
You need to get the main party together, and then get all the banter going, and then it really starts to feel complete.
Yeah,
noted.
Now, Mike, I know you have a slightly different take on God of War. I think. Let's hear your thoughts on this.
I didn't like the first game. That's really my take. I just didn't. I played it for quite a while, and then just stopped playing it because the combat just wasn't for me. I don't know. I can nitpick it. The areas that kind of turned it off for me, the first being that and this is really early on, but the game opens on you chopping down a tree in 3 swings, and then you go and fight 3 basic enemies, and it takes 10 swings each to kill them. I'm just am I bad? Am I doing something wrong?
They just didn't want the tree chopping to feel like it takes forever, Mike. It was just for ambiance, damn it.
Then don't have it.
More immersion.
That is how the game opens, right? It opens the title screen is the tree, and then it just goes straight into the game.
And you don't even know to start doing stuff until you just do it. It's kind of it's really great.
But
then you fight the first god, and it's you're extremely powerful. It's why am I dying to these small things? I don't understand. Anyways, I can nitpick it. It's fine. I didn't really like it. And this game looks great for people who like God of War. It looks like more God of War. Great. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't at me.
To leave on a high note, I will say Atreus. The actor's grown up a little bit now, and his voice is less fucking annoying.
Yeah.
As Rachel said, watching the trailer, she said still whiny, so doesn't really fix it. But I think at least he's whiny. I prefer a whiny teen to a whiny 8-year-old. So
yes,
so I'm pretty happy with this. I think at that point he's I want to go off on my own adventure. I want to figure stuff out. I'm that's what a teenager would say anyway. I feel when he's 8, he should chill. So yeah, overall I'm happy with the Atreus growing up thing. I'm already more into that.
All right, good. Well, that is the recap of the PlayStation Showcase. Let's move on. All right, let's move on to Claim a Game. In Claim a Game, I give our panelists a choice between 2 games and ask them which one sold better or which one scored higher reviews. They have to claim one of the games. Review scores are taken from Metacritic, and based on the best scoring platform, we'll play 8 rounds. The panelists can make the same claims, but whoever made more correct choices at the end wins. We take matchup suggestions for Claim a Game from our $1 plus supporters over on Patreon at patreon.com/goodnightgroofs, where you can message us your suggestion.
Value.
Absolute,
Look at that value.
absolute value.
Better value than DualSense.
No, not quite. Maybe. All right.
That's $10 of value there, Mike, per game.
Round 1. More units. Darksiders 2 or Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh God.
Darksiders, that's the one about like a really like a
With the
red
hack
apple.
and slash. Like, oh
No,
yeah,
you're-
Like, it's like a
Darksiders
really,
is
like-
you're a demon.
It's like a stout apple cider.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't understand this joke. Oh, cider. Oh my Jesus Christ. All right.
I'm gonna go with Darksiders 3 because I made the joke. It's only
Well,
fair.
Darksiders 2.
I'm gonna
Oh,
go
then, even better.
less stouty than the third one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Darksiders as well.
God damn it. All right. Solely for the reason that I think maybe it's Divinity because Larian was given the Baldur's Gate IP. Let's go Divinity. Fuck it.
Darksiders 2, 1.5 million. Divinity Original Sin 2, 1 million.
Damn. I was wondering too, because it was on like what THQ Darksiders was. That should have
was,
been a
yeah.
giveaway, honestly.
Wait, what was
that it
what
was
the
gonna do
winner
bad,
there?
but
Darksiders 2 was the
Darksiders.
winner.
Oh, I thought
Darksiders
so.
2.
Well, that's surprising. I feel like I really actually thought it was Divinity, but just the joke. The joke won.
I don't know
totally.
how many people would actually play that game.
But I barely play Divinity, but I bought it because I thought I wanted to be the kind of person
True.
who would play Divinity.
yeah,
Yeah,
it just counted
I
as a
thought that.
refund.
Yeah, I bought it too, and I
You bought
played
it to play with
once.
me, yeah, me and Spencer, and I at least would, I think, one day play it. You will never play it. Yeah.
Me and Matt are the same. Hey.
Higher score, The Division or The Division 2?
Jesus fucking Christ. You're really picking like
Fuck
rotten
my-
apples from a rotten apple basket.
Wow.
Apple cider.
Division 1.
These are dark ciders right here. I will say 2.
I'm gonna
I don't
have
have
to go with 2 because Division 1 was bad.
I feel like the hype for Division 1 because people didn't know what it was going to be might have been enough, but I
That
still
may
think
have.
2's
Dark
on sale
Zone.
so much. I'm going for 2.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna change. I'm just changing just because of the Dark Zone. Dark. What the fuck? I can't fucking talk. What the Division 1? There we go.
The Division, 80. The Division 2, 84.
Well, I should have hung around.
You
Fuck.
should have.
I'm a dumb bitch. I had some fun in Division 1.
More units. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning or Brutal Legend?
Back to fucking baseball.
We
man.
use both of these. Fuck, you're reusing games here, man.
They were scores
Alright.
before, though. These
I
are
know, I know.
units.
This is
What
harder,
was
actually.
what was the second one?
Brutal Legend, the Jack Black rock
I think
game.
you said Hunter of the Reckoning or some shit.
It's Amalur,
That's
the Reckoning.
Kingdoms of Amalur.
I was thinking of the
Reckoning.
second one. Either way, the second one I was thinking was an awful game. I'm gonna go with Baseball Man. He ain't let me down yet.
What?
Kings of Amalur Reckoning.
Christ.
The battle at a baseball gym. I'm going for. I'm gonna go for Brutal Legend. Why not? I
Yeah,
want this for
Brutal
Jack
Legend.
Black.
Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, 1.3 million. The governor of Rhode Island later stated that it needed to sell 3 million to break even. I'm not kidding. The governor of Rhode Island said that because they own the IP
What
at
a
that
tweet.
point.
Imagine he's a gamer and he's like, this is pretty cool.
Brutal Legend, 1.4 million. So Brutal Legend wins.
God, I'm getting fucking cumstered and dumpstered this fucking episode.
Man, I
boys.
am. Mike, are we tied or am I winning? I feel like I'm winning, right?
You're definitely winning.
I don't know. I thought you were there. You only missed one. didn't you?
I've just got one right.
We're only three
think I
in.
have-
We're only three in.
Name the games out there. I need to win at something.
All right. Higher score. Bug Snacks or Sunset Overdrive?
Oh, you
Bug
fuck.
snacks. Bug snacks.
Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, this is so hard. I'm gonna say Bug Snacks.
All right, we all have it locked in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bug Snacks, 79. Sunset Overdrive, 81.
Why?
Sunset Overdrive was goated, boys. I love
Dude,
that
Sunset
fucking
Overdrive
game.
sucked.
I loved that
so
fucking
bad.
game.
I
It
wanted
was
to
so
like
much
it
fun.
so bad, and I just
God, I
hate.
fucking loved that game.
I will say the gameplay was fun, but I hated everything about the aesthetic.
I loved it. It was just
The
so hideous.
aesthetic
It was great.
screams X-Deviant. So
Yes, exactly. I'm not like the other games.
More units. The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy or Battlefield 5.
Oh my Battlefield,
Battlefield 5.
yeah, Battlefield 5.
Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy 10 million.
Oh,
Battlefield
fuck, holy
5
shit.
7.3 million.
Yeah.
God
Oh my
damn,
God.
Holy
boys.
shit.
10 million to who?
People were excited for it.
That's why we got Crash 4.
People who loved Crash on the PS1.
Holy shit.
All right. Higher score, Pokemon Snap or new Pokemon Snap?
What the country fried
Uh,
bullshit?
New
Pokemon
Pokemon
Snap.
Snap.
The OG.
I say new.
I have no fucking clue. We're just gonna Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap 77. New Pokemon Snap 79.
I just feel like they're more generous with game scores now than they once were. So
Yeah, probably. I don't know. All the critics that I read about the new Pokemon Snap, their biggest critique was it's only Pokemon Snap. There's no innovation here. It's like,
which means
what
at
do you
least an
expect?
80, right? Yeah. So that's
Right.
my thought.
Which means at least the other score.
Right.
More units. Uncharted 4 or The Last of Us?
That's a
Uncharted
toughie.
4.
Uncharted 4.
Last of Us. Fuck it.
Uncharted 4 15 million units. The Last of Us 20 million units.
Wow.
Still losing, but let's go.
I felt like it was gonna. Yeah, Last of Us seemed like more popular, but I just felt like Drake fans are strong. Love the Drake.
All right, final round. What's this? What are we looking at score wise?
Paul's at 4. Josh is at 3. I have 1.
Ooh, okay. So
I keep going
potential
with Mike's answers here. I gotta stop.
either a Paul win or a tie. All right.
Oh boy.
Higher score: Resident Evil 4 or Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
I'm gonna
Sekiro.
say Sekiro.
Well, I gotta risk it for the fucking biscuit, boys. Gaba, your last ghoul, Paul. We're going Resident Evil 4.
Gabagool.
Resident Evil 4 a 96. Sekiro: Shadows Die
Fuck.
Twice a 91.
Not a
Fuck.
chance.
So
I
we
know,
have a
it's a tie.
tie.
All right. How do we face each other to shake hands? Does this work?
I think this works.
It does not.
It works for me.
Damn it. This works for. I don't even know.
I'm just giving myself a hug.
Oh. All right. For the visual, go on the video if you want to enjoy that. All right.
All right, so we need to break this tie here. So, Josh and Paul, whoever is closest to the score for Kirby Star Allies on the Switch.
Fucking
I've never even heard of that game.
What the fuck? Kirby still has games.
Now because
Randy played it.
because Paul had Paul had the lead going into it. So we're gonna give him the first guess, and it's not Price is Right rules. It's just whoever's closest to Kirby Star Allies for the Nintendo Switch.
79.
87.
73. Paul wins.
Fuck you, Kirby. You fucking puffy bitch.
I mean, listen, 87's good. I know he can beat Tekken, okay, but it's not that good.
God.
All
I've never
right.
played a Kirby game, so.
Nah, neither have I. I just know Smash.
Let's
And
take
he had a bad Saturday morning cartoon at one point too with like King DDD or
Whoa,
some
it
shit.
wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but I felt I was kind of creeped out.
All right, let's take a quick break around the water cooler to discuss the games that we have been playing this week. Mike, what have you been playing this week?
Celesta. Magister's Crown.
All right.
Sounds made up.
Crown of the Magister, that's what it's called. Yeah, it's a D&D game. It's good. It takes all the rules from 5th edition. Yeah, it's good. I've gotten somewhat into the story. I like how much it is like playing D&D. So I have a lot of fun with it. And I would suggest if you like Divinity Original Sin, and if you're excited for Baldur's Gate 3, you should check out Celesta because it's a good game to play while you wait for Baldur's Gate 3 to finish.
Wow, it really does look similar. Good. Is that what you've been diving into the whole time?
That's what I've been. Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
I mean, I played some Destiny 2 with Josh. Let's not say that I haven't. I've gotten to listen to him mauled at, Crucible. And I played some Divinity 2, which led me to playing mostly Celesta. So
good. Paul, what about you?
Yeah, I won't belabor here because I don't have anything too exciting. In the interest of keeping it brief, but yeah, I just worked at Hades a little bit more. I'm still kind of working my way through that, which is fun. I definitely got into some Fortnite again. I logged on and accidentally got all the Superman stuff, which was pretty cool. I didn't even earn it, so that was pretty rad. I started doing it. I didn't finish it, and then I got some shit, so pretty cool. I was bragging to my nephew, and he's like, "Yeah, I hit it 2 weeks ago though, so get good." Anyway, and yeah, and also I tried playing the Marvel open world game that came out that we were talking about, Future Revolution.
The mobile game.
Yeah, God, fucking trash shit. I don't know. It's fine, I guess. It's kind of have you seen Future Force? They have another game, I think, and it's basically a top-down, kind of press some buttons thing. But Future Revolution is supposed to be kind of this weird open world MMO style thing of that. But it just doesn't work, and it's incredibly pay to win, and fuck Netmarble. So,
all right, Josh, what about you?
So, all these nice single player games I've been talking about me playing ever since I've really stopped playing WoW. Well, I picked WoW back up a little, but, here and there, off and on, really wait until 9.1.5. I opted instead for, another game that's really not much of a time sink, Destiny 2. And I have only put in the past 2 weeks 52 hours into it. No big deal, nothing crazy. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. That's all I've been playing. I've been obsessed with it. I've had a blast. It's just, to me, it's how people go in those Minecraft 2-week benders where they'll just dig out the entirety of an entire seed of a world, and then they'll just never play it again for the next 6 months. That's kind of how I am with Destiny 2. I'm gonna plow through the fucking season. I'm gonna play a shitload of Crucible with Mike and Fave, and then I'm gonna probably go play some Spider-Man, play some God of War, something like that. It just sucked me in, and it's smooth as fucking butter. It's some of the best shooting mechanics in the damn genre right now, and it's great.
A Minecraft bender. I like it.
I remember when Minecraft first was coming out in beta. I was in university with my friends in our dorm, and it was a very those old 70s 60s style blocky ass buildings. And we spent I don't know, a whole weekend playing it. And at one point, we just came out to get food at some point, and every building looked like Minecraft. All the ground started looking like voxels. It was really fucked up. We probably shouldn't have stayed up for 3 days playing Minecraft. God. Yeah.
Very nice. I played Ghost of Tsushima. Finished the main story content for Iki Island. Hey, Matt. Oh, yes.
What have you been playing this week?
Oh, well, you know what? Funny you should mention that. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
What? Yeah. Wow. Have you been playing the new content?
I did. I finished the main story content for Iki Island. Deja vu moment. Weird. It's short, but it's pretty good. I definitely prefer the main game story, but it's pretty good. It's a nice side story. Now I just want to clear out Iki Island, do all that stuff. I should be able to do that this weekend, I think. But the game's just so beautiful, man. It's so fun to just jump back into Ghost of Tsushima. But I'm glad it wasn't a year between the main game and the new content for me, because it would have been really hard to jump back in. The combat would just be difficult to pick right back up. I would be dying over and over again, I think, if it had been that way. Also, my name is Matt, and I am a WoW addict. I did jump back into WoW this week. I mentioned wanting to play Genshin Impact at one point, but then I kind of just decided that if I'm going to play a game that's a massive time sink with a ton of systems layered on top, then I might as well just play WoW.
True, dude.
So just play what I know. Messed around with some alts. Played the new starting experience again. The Exiles, what is it called? Exiles Reach. Yeah. Really well put together starting zone. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to go too much into an MMO right now because there are so many other games that I want to play, and that just takes so much time. But we'll see. It's fun. I was playing a mage. I haven't really ever played a ton of mage in WoW before, so maybe I can level it up a little bit, do some dungeons and stuff. That's always been my favorite way to level, is just going through dungeons. So maybe I'll do some of that. But other than that, didn't play anything else really this week, but I do still have a desire to, at some point, get into Plague Tale Innocence. Hopefully after Ghost of Tsushima, I can do that. Especially now that we're getting into spooky season, it'll be even.
Hey, and the fall Spider-Man run through.
Yeah, I might have to do that. It's I don't have to platinum it this time because I already did that, so I can just do the story stuff. So maybe we'll do that. But anyway, let's move on to audience questions. Every week, we address 2 or 3 audience questions, comments, or concerns. We take questions from our supporters over on Patreon at patreon.com/goodnightgroofs. Leave your questions in the comments section of the previous episode's post. The $1 tier will get you access to question submissions. What is that? That's value. We also take submissions at gamegroofs@gmail.com.
There we go, Matt.
And in the YouTube comments, but our patrons will always receive priority. The first question comes from Benedict Arnold.
God damn, back from the
I have
dead.
a bad feeling about that guy.
What console exclusive games or franchises would you most like to see making a jump to other platforms? Now, if I were a big Xbox fan or I only owned an Xbox, today my answer might be Marvel's
Everything.
Wolverine. But personally, right now, I think my answer is I would like to see this obviously will never happen. This is just wishful dream world. But I want to see Mario on PlayStation and Xbox so that I would pretty much have no reason to buy Nintendo consoles going forward then. So
Nintendo would have to be fully bankrupt.
Yes.
And gone for years. Every person who was related to the family would have to be somehow dead.
Yes.
Like Japan would have to basically be nuked again.
Pretty much, yeah. Now, I would never have to buy a Nintendo.
I just mean like no one else has, so I feel like it should be mentioned again.
For some reason it didn't
I'm
hit
not
me right
laughing. All right.
away. Jesus Christ. Okay. I wouldn't have to buy another Nintendo console. Another honorable mention, I would like to see Halo on PlayStation. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility, but probably not.
That idea makes me physically ill. That's just the Xbox blood in me, just boiling up.
Let's go to you now, Josh.
I feel like Major Nelson would have to be dead in his grave.
Yeah, actually, Major Nelson would probably be nuked.
Yeah. He was visiting Japan at the time.
Jesus.
Oh my. Anyways, so oh god, I'm burping like a fucking bad man. The beer is doing it. So hear me out. World of Warcraft on consoles. No.
Always.
There are a few
Always.
mods that Blizzard don't ban me. A few add-ons you can install to actually use a controller.
They're great.
To play WoW, and they work perfectly.
They're amazing.
There's so many limited buttons now with WoW these days that you can make it work in just about any regard. Casters, it's fucky, but melee, it's
you have
works
a
fine.
3-button rotation. It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Play a demon hunter like I do. Be an 8 brain and you're good.
Yep,
don't worry about it. I think that'd be I don't think it'll ever happen. But if Blizzard gets desperate enough, maybe, perhaps, I think it'd be neat. I mean, Final Fantasy does it, and you've got a goddamn shitload of buttons from that. So
Yeah, if Final Fantasy can do it, then WoW can do it because, like you said, Final Fantasy, you have way more buttons than you do in WoW.
I can't even imagine it. Stressful as hell.
So it could definitely work. I think it's too late at this point, probably.
Diablo 3 is on there. Why didn't you put WoW?
Yeah, I think it
has 5 buttons.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Blizzard clearly will make a game for change it for console. WoW is 5 buttons. Don't lie.
Mike, what about you?
If you're feeling fancy, it's 5 buttons.
WoW is 2 buttons because that's all you need to fish.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's all you need to fish.
Actually, they should make the full game, but combat doesn't work, and you can just fish.
Fuck, that's
which is kind of like how the real game is anyway.
That would probably improve the game because combat sucks. Anyways,
Yep.
These fuckers.
What console exclusive games or franchises? Well, I think we should go back to what we've been talking about for easily 2 months now. Let's get the Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation.
Or at least on Switch. I think that's
At
a good
minimum
spot
on
for it,
Switch.
right?
It feels
I
like
mean, I
such a
already made
slap
it
in the
to
face.
Mhm.
That way, PlayStation can get their Halo and whatever else, get their fix, get Gears of War on there. I'm sure it would do fantastic. I don't know. This is an interesting question. Like a serious answer for this, I don't know. Spider-Man would be cool to have on my Xbox, but I can just play it on my PlayStation. That's the issue. Is that like none of this?
That's the issue, is that you're fucking over here with a
Right.
Series X and a PS5, so nothing, and a PC, so nothing is an issue for you.
And a
Switch.
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 And a Switch.
See, I was in that position.
And a Steam Deck on the way.
Yeah.
I was in that position
You know
last
what?
generation.
You know what? I got it. Give me Resident Evil 7 for my Vive on PC, Capcom, and stop making it PS4 VR exclusive.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Good answer.
All right.
Family
Good
Feud
answer.
style. Good answer. Good answer.
No, we're not clapping
I
for
will
that.
say Grandma's Room. Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Paul, what's your answer to this question?
And the question is, what is the most embarrassing place? No, no. My answer to the question, I mean, Mike touched on it a second ago. Spider-Man, not just Spider-Man Insomniac, fucking Spider-Man. At this point, if you want Spider-Man in Marvel's Avengers, which is not a Sony game, you have to fucking do it on PlayStation. If you want the Insomniac Spider-Man, it's on PlayStation. Guarantee a fucking Spider-Man fucking goes to Fortnite, it'll have to be on PlayStation only or some shit. Spider-Man is locked in to PlayStation at this point. This was never the case before. This is a new thing, and they've had the rights for a long time, but you could play it on their fucking console. You can't now. I mean, I'm look at me. I'm gonna buy a PS5. I'm pretty sure. Sometime in the next year or two, I will have one for sure. Definitely for the next Spider-Man game. But listen, this is not a character that needs to be locked in. I understand the Insomniac games at least because they're owned by Sony. Whatever. But the character, give me a break. Come on, release the character.
Free Spider-Man.
Yeah, free Spidey.
Free my boy.
Free my Peter.
Hell yeah, Paul.
Hell
Free
yeah.
the dick.
What the fuck are you talking about? All right, yeah.
All right. Next question. This one comes from Frank. It's not a joke. It's just a made-up guy named Frank. All right.
I mean, so it's still kind of a joke, to be frank.
Hi, Frank.
The question is,
Hey,
what is
Frank.
your favorite video game console peripheral?
Matt, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So my answer is the old Game Shark on the Game Boy Color.
Oh, wow.
It. All right.
Brought me a lot of joy, but it also betrayed me. So maybe this should have been written in by Benedict Arnold. Before I knew what the Game Shark was, I had a friend who used it during our link cable battles, and that allowed him to catch my Pokemon and take them from me. And that started a major fight. Eventually, I got my own Game Shark. I tried to trick him, but of course, he already knew what the Game Shark was. Didn't work out, but I was able to basically create the ultimate Pokemon with my Game Shark and win some battles against him.
I thought you were gonna say that you thought it was like to use the Game Boy in the pool or something.
No,
and
no.
it fucked shit up.
No, but the Game Shark was great. It lets you just do essentially whatever you wanted to do with your Game Boy games.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know how that was allowed by Nintendo or how it worked exactly. I guess it was like rewriting code as you were playing the game, probably. Really weird. Or like it went into like no clip modes,
Like dev options kind of thing. I
yeah,
don't
really
know, something
strange.
like
But neat tool. What about
Well,
what about you, Paul?
So I had an answer, but I realized it's kind of a boring answer. So instead, I am going to go for the obvious best answer, the guitars from Guitar Hero. Fucking love those things. Come on. Everyone tell me that they didn't spend a good 2 to 3 years being really obsessed with Guitar Hero from 2005 to 2008. Somewhere in there, you
Yep.
spent at least a good couple months playing a lot of Guitar Hero. I was late to the game. I got in as Guitar Hero 3 came out. I bought Guitar Hero 2 as Guitar Hero 3 was coming out. I felt so behind, but I loved it. It was a great time. There was a button seldom pressed by me as someone who was a medium noob who had a lot of trouble with hard mode. I did get it on some games, but I didn't want to have to move my arm a whole lot. yeah, it was a great time. Really cool peripheral. I know there's lots of like cool stuff that came after Rock Band and everything, but I think Guitar Hero really came out and said like made it clear that this is stuff we can actually make, and it was so fun. And other stuff just iterated on that.
I always respected how cool it was, but I think I was like the only kid around our age at the time that just did not like Guitar Hero. Mostly, I just don't like. I never liked rhythm games. I'm just mostly because I have no rhythm, so that probably plays into it.
Fair, yeah.
So yeah, I never liked Guitar Hero, but I respected it, and I so badly wished that I could have played it, but I
liked it so much that before I got the guitar for Christmas, I like played the demo on Xbox with my controller and just pressed the face buttons to play the game because I just loved the concept and the rhythm so much.
Nice,
so fun.
Mike, I'm very curious to hear what you're gonna say for this one.
So I'm gonna go with a classic, the DualSense controller for the PS5. No, that's not my answer.
No, it's not.
That's not.
It would have been a great answer.
It's peripheral.
It's not that great of an answer. I've been thinking about this question because my answer is going to be the Kinect, just because I like it a lot and I still use it.
You still use the Kinect?
Yeah.
What do? Do you play like bowling, Just Dance?
I play Just Dance.
Nice. That's a great use of the Kinect.
Exactly. Like it works very well. I was kind of excited for the Xbox One always on feature where I could just be like, hey, Xbox turn on, and then my Xbox would turn on. Because I thought that was like neat.
Too, yeah.
It was convenient. Unfortunately,
I
always
Xbox
lived
One
with
right after
roommates.
that. They got rid of that, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I lived with roommates, and I was in college, and everyone knows that roommates in college are usually assholes. So my favorite was playing either NCAA. Yeah, it was NCAA football, and it had voice activation through the Kinect, and you could say spike, and your QB would spike the ball. So my roommates would walk by and just say that. So then I had to turn off the Kinect.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know it had that feature with NCAA football.
That's neat functionality, actually. Yeah,
I do know that there were features in the
alien isolation
in the NBA games.
Oh, okay.
Where if you would swear while you were playing, you'd get a technical foul.
What?
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's that great thing with alien isolation where it could actually like read you moving in the room or hear you breathing or hear certain sounds, and that would tip the alien off to where you were.
Oh Jesus!
Which I fucking love.
Spooky.
Yeah. There was another one. So like all of the things, when you get a notification, it pops up and it says, say open that, and it'll open that thing. Well, I'll be in the middle of doing something and one of my friends will just be like, hey, Xbox, open that. And I'm like, no, Xbox, don't open that.
So it wasn't very good at recognizing voice for one person.
It didn't have any vocal training.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't for that.
Only good if you are living alone. Xbox Kinect. That's just it.
Yeah.
Well, or with
polite people
who are considerate.
Yeah.
Josh, what about you?
We're gonna go with the classic. Now it's a PC, but we gotta go with this little bad boy here, the MMO mouse.
Wow.
The MMO mouse is my best friend. I've used one since like 2011 or some shit. I just love this damn thing. Not even just for MMOs either. Like I've just found like when I'm playing like a shooter, like let's say Destiny, just pressing 1, 2, 3, like it's just like at an instant, just like that. And I've just gotten so used to using it. Now, I mean, you do have to have smaller thumbs for it, and I got small little hands, so it works out pretty well for me. But if you got bigger hands, it probably ain't gonna work too well because there's not a lot of space to work with.
Mike and I were just talking about this on the replay the other day, how we don't like MMOs because our big ass thumbs get in the way.
Fat thumbs.
Yeah,
I remember y'all mentioned that. And you over pressing 1, 2, and 3, like all at the same time.
Listen, I've always wanted the dream of an MMO mouse, but it doesn't work for me.
It is
it's too much.
It's been the goat for me, but I can understand the pain in the ass they could be if you got wide boy interstate thumbs.
I will say small, quick. Wow. Wide boy interstate thumbs. Or those nice.
Am I supposed to be insulted? I don't understand.
Thumbs of the north up here.
Yeah.
I
guess.
Some maple syrup thumbs up here, sticky thumbs. But yeah, I will say honorable mention because Mike and I both said that we were thinking of choosing this answer to the Xbox chat pad with the full keyboard that you can plug into the bottom of the Xbox controller.
Wow, yeah.
That shit is fucking. I'll take a Josh term here. Goated, boys. It's so good. I love that fucking thing. I could finally like respond when some like fucking 12-year-old told me to get good. I could like really write an essay about how he's like a horrible little piece of shit whose parents don't love him. That really made it possible, and I'm really happy for that.
Oh shit!
Plus, when there was no headphone jack on the original Xbox One controller, this had a headphone jack on it too.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Okay, very nice.
Yep.
Must-have accessory.
Shout out to Duck Hunt, a home light gun game in 1984. Insane. How did that fucking work? I have no idea.
It didn't. That's the answer. It didn't work.
It felt like it really worked. It felt like
it felt like it did when it did. Sure, yeah. You'd be like, oh, I think I got it, right? But then like your brain filters out the 100 other times it didn't work.
Well, I liked it.
It did function. Did you have one?
I had it. Yeah.
Oh, now I feel bad. I
had the cartridge that had Super Mario and Duck Hunt.
That is awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
Now Paul over here just shitting on your hopes and dreams.
I mean, listen, like I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm just saying it wasn't sophisticated. It is all.
Paul's got to shit on Duck Hunt, and you had to shit on Borderlands. We're fine.
That's true. Yeah,
how it goes.
we got to drop loads on something. I suppose that's it.
Sorry. Well, yeah. Usually the toilet probably is a good spot to leave those. Kleenex.
All right. Speaking of which, we're moving on to Bang, Marry, Kill Video Game Edition.
What
a segue.
Is that what the M stands for?
Speaking of loads.
In BMK Video Game Edition, each groove is assigned another groove prior to recording. That groove must...
And then they have to get married.
No.
Okay.
That
they
groove,
just have to bang.
Yeah.
Or kill each other.
That groove must then create... BMK, choose your groove.
Oh my god, it's possible.
That groove must then
holy shit.
Create a list of 3 games, franchises, developers, publishers, etc. For the assigned groove. The list is presented live during recording, and then the fellow groove must decide which of the options they're gonna bang, marry, or kill. Here's the key. Bang, you get one night with this choice. You get one lovely night with this choice. Marry, you gotta engage with this choice daily. Okay. Not that that's a bad thing. It
has to be a good marriage, not just a sham marriage.
It's not a you have to engage daily. It's a you get the opportunity. You are lucky enough.
You're lucky enough.
All right.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Kill,
especially with my picks that I gave Josh last time.
With kill, you never get to engage with this choice ever, including future releases. So this week our parameters were multiplayer games. Okay, we were only doing multiplayer games. This week Paul and I are partnered up, and Mike and Josh are partnered up. So first, let's start with Josh's games that he has for Mike.
Oh no.
So Mike gave me some really good selections last time. Spoiler alert, if you didn't watch that episode. They were actually dog shit. So Mike, here's your bang, marry, kill options. Among Us.
Okay.
Fall Guys. Uno.
Okay. Oh, we're killing Uno. Uno can go away. Probably marry Among Us and bang Fall Guys. This was easy, Josh. What are you doing?
Jesus.
Come on.
I really like Among Us, just because you don't.
Look, I'm just doing everything I can to talk about how shit Among Us is.
I really like Among Us. Fall Guys is okay. Like, I mean, it's not like I've touched it since it came out, so I have to spend one day playing it. Fine. Uno is a travesty and should be sent to pasture. Don't get me wrong. I love playing it. I love playing it with the boys, but like, that is not a good game, and I don't want to play it every day.
I'm so disappointed.
Josh, you got reverse Uno, dude.
Dog, I did. It never works out for me.
All right, now we'll go with mine for Paul.
Okay.
All right, Paul. Fun Orb Mini Golf, Minecraft, and Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. I'll go ahead and I said it was easy. Give me 1 sec.
So while he's thinking, a quick insight. FunOrb
Yeah.
was a site that was run by Jagex that had like a bunch of like Flash games
So
on it.
So mini golf actually wasn't on there. Arcanist was on there. Actually, mini golf was on PlayRay, which then became Playforia. It was an EU website.
Okay,
and,
Playforia mini golf then.
Yes, FunOrb actually hosted, which was Jagex, and that hosted that game Arcanist, which is kind of Worms but with wizards, and that was a really fucking fun game. But yeah, the mini golf game was really great. The balls, it was super 2D, like flat, and the balls had collisions. So me and Matt and our other friend would play, and I'd just fuck everyone over once I lost enough. I just start smacking their balls into the wrong spots.
It was so fun.
Context is everything.
And it was user created courses.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Perfect cash game to do a little chat with your friends. I will go ahead and kill Minecraft. I'm done with it. I don't need to play it again. I'll go ahead and weird choice. I'll tell you. You think I'm like a Minecraft lover? I'll give you all bang Sea of Thieves. I'll marry mini golf. I love that game.
Interesting.
Shout out to mini golf.
It's a classic, and you can't play it anymore. It's gone. It was on Java. It was on Playforia. They shut the site down. It's gone forever.
My man's a widow.
I saw someone. Yeah, I am. I saw someone. So I'm hoping that if I say I'll marry it, it'll come back to life. Maybe I don't think that's how marriage works. I'll also tell a lot of widows would feel that way. Also, I will tell you. I also picked this guy's dead wife, and I will. I'll say there's actually I found some people making like a GitHub and trying to bring the game back as its own executable. So it feels like it's probably going to be spyware, but I follow the project.
Yeah, I do hope it comes back. It's probably not, but it was so fun. It was so fun.
It's fun.
Mike, your choices for Josh.
Oh yes. All right. So last time I picked some of your least favorite games for you to choose from. This week I am choosing some of your favorite franchises.
Ooh.
Oh, beautiful.
All right.
Oh, beautiful.
All right, so we got Halo 5.
Oh.
Call of Duty World at War.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Battlefield Hardline.
Okay. Well, one of those games I fortunately liked, thankfully. Even though they were all demonstrably fucking terrible.
You have to play multiplayer versions of these, by the way.
Okay. So let's see. So we got Halo 5, Call of Duty World at War, and Battlefield Hardline. All right, perfect. We are marrying Battlefield Hardline because at the end of the day, it is a Battlefield game, and while it wasn't the best Battlefield game, it still felt like a fun Battlefield game. It got the job done for me in a bad way, like a one-armed man. I don't know what that means. So this is the hard part. Which one am I banging and which one am I like just taking out to pasture? Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? Everyone really hyped up World at War. I fucking hated that game. Or take it out to pasture. Put 2 in the back of the head. Bada boom, it's done. Halo 5, whatever. I'll have a little bit of
you
fun
gotta
with you.
spend a whole night in Halo 5.
You know, it is what it is. It can get my grav hammer. I'll take its warthog. It'll be fine. And we'll have a good night together in Valhalla. It'll be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Paul, your picks for moi.
All right. I got World of Warcraft. I'm coming in strong with Call of Duty franchise. I'm coming out with the franchise.
Okay.
And also I'm coming in with Sea of Thieves.
Ooh. Okay. I think I am going to marry World of Warcraft. All right. Now we got the suspense. We all knew what was coming.
You might be sexually assaulted in the marriage.
It's true.
That's keep in mind. There might.
I'll deal with that I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I think I'm gonna have to kill Call of Duty, mostly because it's something that I just sort of over the last year got back into. So I think I'm just gonna kill that. Sea of Thieves, I know I'm always gonna be able to have fun in it. Call of Duty, I think it's gonna be hit and miss, some years. So I'm gonna kill Call of Duty. I'm gonna have a good single night with Sea of Thieves, and I'll leave it with that.
It's a good choice.
A lot of rum. A lot of rum that night.
Yeah, beat those Doonies down.
Yeah, a lot of grog. All right, guys. New segment to finish it off. segment is called News Bytes. Each panelist is going to shine some light on a small piece of gaming news from the past week that might not have gotten the attention it deserved. Now I'll go first. Mine is that Far Cry 3 right now is free on the Ubisoft store this week. Amazing game. Go grab it. And totally worth, I mean, it's free, so totally worth it. It's kind of the game that started the new trend of what Far Cry became. So if you don't like that, then don't grab it. But if you do like the Far Cry games, it probably still has the best villain in a Far Cry game. Voss is awesome. Super well voice acted. He's just like, the vibes that he has are like creepy, and he's just like this weird dude who, you know, like something is very off about him. The jungle setting is really cool. Yeah, go pick it up. It's free. Paul, what's your news bite?
News bite. You know, I had trouble thinking of a news bite that wasn't the popular news because we've been talking about, you know, lots of different news. I will just say, I know it's not something no one talked about, but I think it is going to get overshadowed this week. So I just want to have a quick moment to reflect once again upon PlayerUnknown's Prologue little teaser talk he did.
Yeah.
I think Prologue looks awesome. I mean, looks is wrong to say. Sounds awesome. I think what they're promising, you know, is a lot, and I'm not, you know, definitely like sitting in this hype bubble where I think it's going to definitely deliver in this crazy way. But I will say, you know, I mean, obviously PUBG delivered on kind of creating a new franchise and a new genre, and so I think Prologue, you know, even if they just use it in survival right now, or even if the game itself is just a tech demo for new technology that's going to allow for bigger open worlds and bigger spaces. I think that technology is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to trying it out when it comes time.
Very nice. Mike.
Nice.
My news is that this Friday, so tomorrow, there's a Guild Wars 2 stream. They will be showing off the fishing, the new mechanic being added to the expansion for End of Dragons. And hopefully we'll get another teaser for the next elite specialization that they'll show off. And if it's Elementalist with a hammer, I'm going to be really sad, and I'll probably be crying in my room because they will once again miss the point of fixing my class.
Josh, what's your news bite?
So we all know the 9.1.5 stuff that's swirling about, yada yada. But one of the little things I think that went under the radar is the fact that Orgrimmar and Stormwind are going to have like active weather systems now, which is going to be fucking cool. Anything that adds a little variety to the world that we all love, perfect, great, do it. It makes it feel more living and gives it a little more breath. I'm down with that.
I love that you picked that. Video game weather, obviously we all know, is a huge thing that I love, so I'm hyped about that. All right, thank you all so much for joining us here on the Game Groofs podcast, the all-encompassing gaming podcast from the Goodnight Groofs. That's us. Now, if you really like the show, we encourage you to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/goodnightgroofs, where we currently have 3 different tiers available. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. We'll go a long way in improving everything here at the Goodnight Groofs. The $3 plus tier will get you access to this show, this very show, 2 days early.
Oh, Matt!
Value.
That's valuable.
A special shout out to all of our patrons currently supporting us in the $5 plus tier, Ishmael S. and Rachel S. A round of applause.
Round of applause. Good answer. Matt, can I just ask you something?
You can.
Were you just talking about a Fabergé egg? Excuse me? A priceless Fabergé egg? Because honestly, what you're talking about right now sounds like it's very valuable.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Very valuable. As valuable as a Fabergé egg. Maybe if we get enough Patreons, if you give us enough money on Patreon, we will give you a Fabergé egg.
We also ask that you take a couple minutes to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or leave a like and comment on the YouTube video. Everything helps. Make sure to check out goodnightgroofs.com for all of our content, where you'll find the blog, GG Replay, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday news show, this podcast, and more coming soon. Guys, any last thoughts?
Don't spade and neuter your pets. Let them fucking repopulate like wild animals.
That'll do it for us here today. Gentlemen,
Free the Red Rocket.
Thank you for joining me. Take care, everyone.